Hey, how you doing, everybody out there? It's your boy from Brooklyn, Shannon Ambrosio. Just saying, it's that time again, folks. Whether you want it to happen or not, it's happening. It's another Everything and Nothing podcast. And we're going live, live, live. Just doing my post over here for the IG. Get this one out real quick right here. Share, share, and share. All right, so we're live. How's everybody doing? I hope everybody had a wonderful week out there. It's been a lot of rain, a lot of rain. It's the rainy season, right? The April showers, the whole thing. Bring the May spring flowers, whatever you want to do, however you want to plant them, upside down or sideways. That's the way it works, folks. You need water for the plants. It makes everything grow. That and a little sunshine. And who knows? And who knows? Maybe soon enough, the warm weather will come back. It was like a little flip flop there. We had the warm weather for like a week, and then all of a sudden it got cold again, and then it snowed the other day. I think it was Thursday into Friday or something like that. I'm like, we don't need none of that no more. Mind your business, Mr. Snowman. Come back next year. Let us warm up for a little bit. But a lot's been happening in the country here with this whole tariff thing happening. And I'm not sure everybody really understands what a tariff is or what it means. But let's look up the actual definition of tariff because this has been this crazy topic of discussion, and then I'll tell you my input on these things. So a tariff is a duty imposed on by a national government, and that means anybody, right? That doesn't just mean us. That means other countries to us and us to other countries. So it's a tariff, a duty that's imposed by a national government to another government for the import of goods. So, in other words, if we're importing goods from another country, that country charges us to import the goods, which means that they make money on top of money they made already if they charge a business taxes, and then the government itself makes money for some strange reason. It's like a tax on top of a tax for no reason. It's governments deciding that the goods that are made in their country, uh, like they're worth a certain amount of money based on the type of good and the amount of goods, whether it's by weight. And that's another discussion, right? Whether it's by weight or by a category in which this product lives in. So, technologies is one, garments is one, which I have some background in, and material goods, which I have a background in for construction. So the idea of these goods, how much does this country think that they're worth, either by the weight of them or by what their significance is? How much do you need them, and what, and so on and so forth. The fact that tariffs exist is a funny thing because it's basically an import of goods. The country can charge you for a shipping charge. Like, in other words, if you pay a shipping charge to have it shipped from somewhere, you pay a shipping company, they take a percentage of the money and they ship the goods, and that's your shipping charge on top of whatever the wholesale price of something is, and that's how you come up with the retail price. But the fact that there's tariffs involved is countries just being greedy on top of greedy, whether it's us doing it or somebody doing it to us. It's just more money being taken by somebody for something that they had no business in. It's a weird thing. So the idea that these things are happening is not the fact that it's trying to make it worse here and better somewhere else, or vice versa. The idea is that there shouldn't even exist a tariff. You should only pay a shipping charge if you're buying goods from somewhere else. And that's really the long and short. Anything that else exists is, like I said before, just basically people making money for no reason. So the fact that our country's doing this now and upping the ante on these tariffs is simple, right? Because we import a lot of goods and we don't export many goods, right? So these countries are not feeling the need to import goods from us. So we always seem to be paying most of the tariff out and not getting any of the tariff money in. So also in the definition of tariff, and basically what the bottom line is here. Here we go. A tariff is a duty imposed by a national government, customs territory, or supranational union import of goods. Besides being a source of revenue, import duties can also form a regulation of foreign trade and policy that burden foreign products to encourage or safeguard domestic industry. So really, if the higher tariffs will go, the more they will charge for goods being brought in, which makes less sense to buy outside of the country. This is a tariff is imposed, and it's imposed by other countries. And the reason why other countries they don't import a lot of goods from us is because we have a high tariff. It's kind of a strange thing. They don't want to import anything because they feel that their country can make the same goods they import, and we feel the same. I mean, come on, let's be realistic about this, Christopher. We were like the first country to create industrial revolution based on a line of production, and that line of production comes from the sewing machine. And a lot of people don't understand this. So when we start importing more goods than more than we export, which is a good thing, but if we start importing so many goods and we're not manufacturing here, we're losing this idea of how this nation was created. And it was created based on the work of its citizens. So if our citizens are no longer providing this work here in this country, of course we're going to pay more money because these things have to be made somewhere else. And eventually the same thing will happen here. We have to start bring the creating of the goods back to this country. It'll help release or relieve the idea of tariffs even existing. And that's another thing. We export goods. They're not willing to pay a high tariff, but we're willing to pay a high tariff for imported goods. So that's the idea. So tariff regulation is very important. And I don't care who's imposing it, right? I don't care which side of the idea this belongs to, but the idea that it exists, it should be an even Stevens for everybody. No? Chris, I mean, what do you think?
I have no clue what you're talking about.
It's kind of like it's kind of like when you go to the store. I was saying today, when you go to the store and you buy these goods from a specialty shop, you'll pay more money, but we could make the same goods here, right? It's the idea is that if you buy an imported product, oh, it's more money because you're shipping it here. There's so many things involved. You have to pay a tariff, you have to pay a shipping charge. So of course the goods are going to be more money. But any good or anything that you can get outside of this country, you can get it here, and that would kind of eliminate the idea of tariffs. If you made it almost an even tariff across the board, a lot more countries and a lot more people would feel different about it. So in other words, if that country charged you X amount and you charge them X amount, it's almost like a wash. So what would be the need to be constantly importing goods? You could, if you can make the same goods here, and if the tariffs are even, and the idea of the product or the service being provided here is the same price, why would you get it somewhere else?
I don't know.
Yeah, I guess that's a good enough answer. And I don't think a lot of people understand that. They just think that automatically the tariff is gonna increase the prices of everything. And I go, well, think of it another way. If tariffs are even, then you don't pay anything more than you would or for a service or good now. And here's the funny part: like a lot of people are saying, "Oh, well, now that this is all happening, the tariffs, oh, we're gonna have to charge more money for the product." And I said, "Well, if you have the product already, Chris, if they have the product already, how could you charge more money? The tariffs only just started a week ago. No?
I guess it's for future items.
Well, for future items, yes. But then what would be the determination of when they receive the goods?
The date they receive them.
They would be telling stories, no? I think so, maybe. Um, but that's kind of how I feel about the tariff. I think it's a good thing. I think we should match everybody. That's the way it should be. We should match the tariffs. That's it. It keeps everybody honest to a point.
John said, "Yo, yo, big bro, how you doing?"
What's happening? What's happening?
I don't know who's John.
Uh oh, is that John John?
He just says John.
Oh, it might be John John. That's probably John John.
John Belmarez.
Yes. Oh, Johnny. Oh, Johnny Belmaris. Johnny. That's brother John. Brother John. Um, from the TikTok. I hope all is well, Johnny. What's going on? How you been? And how do you feel about the tariff? Well, you know what's funny is that we buy a lot of these products from overseas, almost everything, right? A lot of stuff, like especially like something like this. This is definitely made in China. Yes, yes, it's made in China. This thing right here, right? Um, but it's such a simple product. Anybody can make this. I don't know what the value of it is here in this country, but I mean, if you're buying plastic items, you can make plastic items anywhere. I don't know what the cost would be, but why would you? Why would you think? Why would you automatically think that if you bought this here, it would be more money? I don't know. What do people think about that? So, in other words, if you were buying this here, would you in your own mind think, oh, automatically it's going to be more money? Right? I mean, I wouldn't necessarily think so. This item's only the value of this item is only what you think the value is. If the value is $4 or $5, then it's a $4 or $5 item. Does it matter if it's made here or somewhere else? It would the cost of the good would still be the same, don't you think? What do you think, Chris?
I'm having an allergic reaction or something right now. My eyes are twitching. There's a tariff on that.
um, there's a tariff on the twitch of the eye. You know that. But that's the idea. The idea is that this wouldn't be worth any more money to you if you bought it here or you bought it somewhere else. So why is everybody so worried about this? That's what's strange. It's like you're saying, everybody here is saying, oh, I'm worried of us getting all these goods from overseas and everything. And I said, well, if you didn't buy them overseas, this is still a $4 or $5 item. Doesn't matter if it's made here or made somewhere else. You wouldn't necessarily pay more or less, right? So, and then here's the other part. Here's where the it makes more sense because the good or the service is provided by a fellow citizen. I mean, isn't that worth more to you already? I mean, I would think so. I would certainly think so. I would hope so. I would hope that would be the reason. I would hope that's more of a reason as to why we shouldn't really be basing how we feel about something on a tariff. That's craziness. It should persuade, and that's the actual meaning of the word is that it does something. It should persuade you to buy the goods made in your country more than somewhere else. I mean, that's true facts. And I don't see it another way. I just feel that way about it. I think that it's okay if it's the same price here as it is there, and you buy it from this country rather than another one. It 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 just does better things for us. Doesn't do worse things for us. It gives you an opportunity show how much value you feel your other citizens in this country that you know uh, we all live in the same spot. It shows how you feel about their value. You feel better about their value. I mean, I would. No. Yes. Copper. Speaking of speaking of the taste of the copper penny, if you know, you know. Um, the copper penny right here. So, Chris, I'm always buzzing around the news and stuff, and found that crazy article online, which I found hysterical. There's a bunch of thieves recently that got caught stealing a solid gold toilet bowl, which which I found kind of shitty. I think you have to be in a really crappy situation in order to want to steal a crapper. It's a very funny thing. But when you think about it, it's it was a solid gold toilet, and it was once it was in the home. Was it in the home of what's his name? One of those famous. My goodness, the article will tell you. But there was somebody. This belonged to somebody famous, really famous, and they went in and they stole. And how they found him was is because they really left the trail of shit. So it wasn't too hard to find them, and you have to be a pretty desperate, place to want to, steal somebody's toilet. But I mean, I don't
I mean,
know.
the fucking toilet's worth $6 million. Like, why do you need a toilet that's worth $6 million?
Yes. Why would you feel the need to take a deuce or to double down in the crown? Well, I guess that's where they get the king of the crown there, right? Because that's a gold crapper right there. That's a pretty amazing piece of bathroom fixture. I wonder what the feces and the urine due to the gold after over time. I wonder if it just disintegrates. What do you think?
Look, they returned with sledgehammers and crowbars. They smashed a window and pried the toilet from its plumbing within 5 minutes, leaving a damaging flood.
You can never get a plumber to work that fast in 5 minutes. That's how you know they weren't real plumbers. They were thieves. They were professional thieves. They figured out a way to, you know, take that thing away, take it apart real fast.
Oh my god! The fact that somebody has a $6 million toilet, I don't give a fuck if you're royalty. That's the crime.
I don't know, but
The
if you look
crime
at,
is owning a $6 million toilet.
yes,
This is the crime right here.
yes,
This is retarded.
you're talking about that's you really have to like sitting down and taking a number two.
No, this guy's probably a billionaire. $6 million is like $60.
Yeah,
He's
that's a
just like whatever. You
that's a
know,
lot of money. That's a lot of money to spend on shit.
fucking crazy. That's it. That's
That's
literally
true
the whole
facts.
article too. Like whoever wrote this article just had nothing else to do.
You think so?
It's like
I think it's interesting
three,
enough to
yeah,
write
no,
about.
but it's got 3 paragraphs. They didn't go into any detail about anything.
Yeah. But I don't know what the name is I'm lost for the name. I forgot who it was that owned it. It's in the article with somebody famous. Like
Uh,
pretty famous. And I don't see the need to have a gold one, but I guess if you have that kind of money and you don't give a shit,
Blenheim Palace.
there will be plenty of puns in this one. It was in
Winston Churchill was
yes,
born
Churchill.
there.
That's who it was.
Yeah, but it's not his toilet
It wasn't.
though. No,
Hmm.
the toilet's never been recovered.
Never. So they never found the
It's
toilet.
been cut up and sold.
Well, I guess that's a smart way to do it. Since it is solid gold, it wasn't.
The satirical work titled "America" by Italian conceptual artist Maurizio Catlin poked fun at excessive wealth. It weighed over 215 pounds and was insured for 4.8 million pounds, $6 million.
Wow. So even though somebody stole it, it's still worth a lot. It was still worth $6 million for the insurance company. That's crazy.
Well, it was worth its weight in gold, literally.
Yeah. That shit's worth its weight in gold. There'll be plenty of those puns. What do you think?
I think the real crime is owning a $6 million fucking toilet.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah. Yeah.
You shouldn't be allowed to own that much.
Well, that just goes to show you about the amount of wealth that there really is amongst. It's amongst people that we would never think of, that would even think of something like this. Winston Churchill. I don't think he was a very extravagant man anyway. So the idea of owning something like this is kind of an homage to, like, look, even though you didn't expect it, it was there. Like, I had it that good. It's like when they find these things after the spoils of war, and they find out that these people went into countries and and burglarized everything and took everything, and you're like, wow. But even the fact that they took it, they got some nerve. But the first part is the person who actually had these things, like giant diamond crowns, and all made on the backs of people that they care less about. That's just crazy, right? Like a $6 million toilet. Fucking out of their minds.
Absolutely insane. And also, what do you fucking need? What do you need jewels? Like, what do they do?
Absolutely nothing.
Nothing.
Absolutely nothing. Right? Big diamond rings. I think that's how it is. If you would have put a ring on it, I guess. I don't know. I don't know which came first, the diamond or the engagement. Which one do you think came first? Right?
Yeah, I don't understand the idea of having things like that. Like, what do they really do for you? Like a gold, like that guy with the terrorist dude who had a gold AK-47. I don't get it.
I don't get it either. But that's what they say in the excess. If you're living in the excess, there is no boundary. There is no boundary for the value of something. You could you could think that this is the most valuable thing and pay anything that you could think you could possibly give to get this, if you thought it was of value, right? It's the same thing with anything. Look, if you really thought it was of value, the 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 toilet, if it had that much of a value to you, I mean, you could do so much. You could do so much more with $6 million. You can give me some of it too. I'll take it. I'll definitely show you how to spend it. And it wouldn't be that, right? I don't know, but I digress. I guess if I was in that situation, I don't know if that would be the case. That much money,
No.
what would you do with it if you had money in excess like that? I don't know if I'd spend it on a crapper. Probably not. Probably not. That's for sure. I could think of I could think of plenty of other things to do with it, and that's the truth. And it wouldn't be it wouldn't be to spend it. I wouldn't spend it if I was being tariffed to hell. Tariffed. That's terrifying. The more tariffs, the more terrifying it gets. I don't know which one is worse. The the talks of the tariffs or the actual tariff. I don't know which one's worse. I don't think people understand economics enough to understand the actuality of it, what it really does and what it really means. I think that's be a hard one to explain. We just think that it's automatically because people keep telling us that it's going to be bad. We all just think it's bad. I know firsthand it's not bad. It's not a bad thing. Tariffs. So, but there's another explanation as to what it really is, and economically wise, I could tell you is that there probably needs to be something, but it doesn't need to be what it is. We know that for sure. No, not talkative today at all.
I don't know anything about tariffs. Not a single thing.
But you know about number two.
I don't know a single thing about tariffs.
Over there, we had to light a bomb the other day. It was out. It was lingering. It lingered. Iraq. I think that's it. This week is going to be another short one. What do you think?
Just getting it ready, getting it going.
Yeah.
I think the intro worked. We'll see right now
On the outro.
on the outro.
What do you think?
We're
We
gonna
can see your
find-
face for a little bit today too.
Uh,
What do you think?
not with these allergies.
No, come on now. Wait, no.
I'm gonna hit the outro. See if it works.
All right, folks, listen to me. You know my message, and that's every day is a good day. And if you give a smile, you're going to get a smile. Give a bunch of them smiles out there, folks. We all need them, and we all want them. I'm out. And
Done. Good.